Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford here with my co-host for this evening, Miss Barbara Beckley of the Diamond Factor. How's it going, Barbara?
Hello, wonderful people, especially Queen LaWanna Bradford. So glad to be here as a special co-host.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and to our amazing E360 TV community. Thank you for following us and joining us for Choose the Challenge. I cannot believe that last month made 3 seasons of this amazing show where we challenge and inspire women to break through those barriers, those limiting mindsets, beliefs, systems, institutions that are keeping us from elevating to the best and highest version of ourselves. So that's what this show is all about. And I'm excited because today, Barbara, we are going to be talking about, is free really free? And this is a look into valuation, and it's perfect timing for this conversation because it is also Financial Literacy Month. And we know, and Barbara and I could go on and on, throwing up statistics about women in finances and not wanting to talk about finances, but we really want to talk about how we evaluate things, right? How do we assess the value? And one of the things that a colleague of ours, he's a gemological storyteller, Barry B. Mixon, often says that unless you tell a story and that story is understood, then it's kind of hard for people to see and interpret the value. And Barbara, when I think about, just before we get into the financial and business side of it, when we think about, is free really free? And you look at where we are, and I'm going to just focus on the US right now, but where we are in this country as far as women and the rights women have and the freedoms that we have. It wasn't free, right? It was bought with a lot of pain, sometimes blood, suffering, death. I mean, there was a cost to the benefits, if you will, that we're experiencing today. You know, we talk about freedoms. Well, someone paid the price for those freedoms. Barbara.
Yes, LaWanna, I know we had conversations about it where, we're sitting. I like how you always say we stand on the shoulders of our, the ladies and the women that went through and had to deal with, the crucifying of what they was going through, what they believed in, and even with legal parts of it, they couldn't do like the voting and just being a woman, just being able to be out there doing things and wanting to do what they thought their purpose was or what they supposed to be doing, and they were like, no, you can't, because they didn't have the freedom to do it, they didn't have the rights to do it, and they stood their ground. So many women out there stood their ground, and said, you know what, I'm going to take this not just for me, but I'm going to take it for the next women that are coming in the future. And every time we have that conversation, LaWanna, it just puts that back in that spirit in myself to say, no, Barbara, they did this for you. They did this for LaWanna. You have to keep continuing basically the legacy of this, because it can always turn back around. And we don't need
as we see certain things being discussed, right?
Yes, we can take some things already that turned around. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I like what you said, that I believe that as we know better and we do better, and we're in positions where we can have influence and impact, it's our fiduciary responsibility to do the right thing for the next generation, for those that are coming up behind us, right? And when we talk about free really isn't free, and let's kind of dig a little bit deeper into what you were saying, Barbara, that we talk about the inequities, right? We'll just keep it simple: the pay inequities, the gender pay gap, and then if you look at the racial disparities as it relates to pay, the gap even widens. But let's just keep it gender right now, and let's talk, because this is Choose the Challenge, the women on women disparity. Okay, when we talk about free isn't free. So if we as women are rallying around saying, okay, we want to get equal pay, we want to get equal access to finances and resources in order to better our business, but then when it comes to paying another female, we're looking for free. We're looking for the deal. We're looking for the hookup. We're looking for the exchange. Let's let's talk about that.
I like you hit every not to get confused, like you said, LaWanna. I'm taking each aspect of this. I love it. Yes. Yeah. We and I always say when that happens, we're devaluating. I hope that's the right
Yeah.
word. Each other.
Mm.
We really are doing that, and people. And sometimes you don't. They don't even see it. And I'm going to put myself out there. You said this is choose a challenge, so I'm going to be open here. A few years ago, before I even started my business with the whole, with the visibility and the purpose and everything, I was looking for deals too. I'm just going to be quite honest. I was looking for the free. They said they sell this. I'm like, well, do you got a PDF I can read? Is there a free one? I mean, I was doing that. And I'm saying that because you don't know what you don't know. And I had to look at myself. There's one thing to say, well, I devalue that person or that individual, that coach, that woman coach that I was with at the time, and didn't understand when she said, well, it's going to cost $1,500 to see me in 1 hour to talk about what you need, what your needs are. At that time, I was like, what? That's the only thing I said. But I didn't look at the fact that this woman took the time with her experience, with her skills, knowledge, time consumed that I didn't have to do. Because basically she was bringing it to me so I can what? Make myself better. See, I didn't understand. All I wanted was, okay, well, okay, that's a little much. Just give me a book to read or whatever. And then that's even on me. I had to go back to me and say, okay, what's my mindset now?
Right.
And that's what
Yeah.
got me to the point now. Yeah.
No, that's good. And I want you just to put a pin right there for a second, because I definitely want you to go back to that. In that example that you gave, we look at the price point that people may put out there. And I'm saying those that are credible, those that are proven, those that have had success, those that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt that you're trying to get. And you have an issue with what they say I charge for. Like you were talking about your one coach, a few years ago, who says I charge for that. And you and I joke about that, but what she's saying is all these years of experience, right? I went through the hard knocks so you don't have to. I build success strategies so you don't have to spend countless of hours at Google University trying to figure it out, kicking tires, hoping they're going to roll. I've been there. I found success, and I'm willing to share it with you, but it's going to cost. See, often we don't look at the respective experts in their lanes, at the amount of hours and discipline and dedication and commitment that it took for them to get there. So let's go back to this choose the challenge with women. I'm going to toss the ball to you. And it's a very serious question that I often ask myself. Why aren't we willing to pay other women what they are truly worth? Is it them, or is the problem within us? And like you mentioned, the mindset thing. Are we projecting the way we feel about ourselves onto others? So we're like, well, I don't value myself this way, so why would I pay someone else for what they're bringing to the table? But I'm going to throw this out there. Choose a challenge. But someone of the other gender may come knock on our door, marketing the exact same thing in the exact same way. And you stroke a check, give them that credit card without a second thought. Why don't we respect the talents, the skills, the expertise of women in the same way? Barbara?
Wow, that's a power pack. Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone's that way, but you see it more often than not.
Yeah. And I've seen it within myself, within my business, where I was bringing the same thing, like you said, LaWanna. And then they're like, you got some discounts. When are you going to have another sale? And then I'm like, well, this is not a sale. This is my price. And then they was like, well, not now. And then totally turn. And I seen it where they paid. And we're talking about the other gender quickly with that card, quickly. And first, when that happened to me the first time, because it happened more than once, I started second guessing me, which was very bad. Because I said, why is it that I have the same thing and probably more than what the male coach had? And they were so quickly to give them money for it. And they were basically just saying, oh my God, no, I can't pay. I got to know whatever. That just, it got me to a core for a minute, because I was like, well, maybe I don't have it good. Started second guessing me. Maybe then I started looking at other coaches saying, okay, what does he have? What is he talking about? Maybe I missed something. Maybe, then that was a wrong thing, because I'm not him and he's not me. So there's that uniqueness that, is coming out between the both of us, still got the same information as needed. So that started to question me and my value. And that was a big no-no. But at the time, like I said, just being vulnerable here, I was questioning that just because of what happened. And then I started asking other women. I was like, okay, what's the difference? You have this person. I just put it out there to them. And they like, well, maybe they had more knowledge or more experience. No, same not experience. Well, maybe they were coming out a different way and they had different techniques of it. No, I had the same thing. It was coming out of my mouth. It was coming out of his mouth. So we were getting up a little upset and a little bit like, how do I answer this question? Because she keeps throwing out, getting back, I'm throwing out. So they never could really give me a solid answer, LaWanna. They never could give me a solid answer on the why.
And that goes back to some of the internal biases that we have, right? Believe it or not, we all have them based upon our lived experiences. We may say they're not there, but they are. And sometimes those same biases are the lens that we use to translate our experience with someone else, even those that may look like us. Like you said, women to women, I'm looking at this person, and for whatever reason, in the back of my mind, maybe from my childhood, men in that particular lane are elevated a little bit higher for whatever reason. I mean, I'm in the financial realm.
You get it.
It's a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
You can have LaWanna, you can have another man. I am a woman, not another, but you can have a man next to me. And people will tend to lean more into what the man has to say. And I found myself starting to try to pick up that masculine energy. It's like, well, if I become a little bit more masculine in how I'm presenting myself, then that's going to gravitate people to me. And I had to say, no, I have to be me. I have to stand in my expertise and not be afraid. So this goes back to the storytelling, not be afraid to tell people where I've been, who I've worked with, the multi-millions and almost billions of dollars of accounts that I've managed. I have to be that confident and that bold, because before it's like, I don't even want to tell people I've managed accounts that large. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the fact that I've worked with the largest consulting firms in the world. I want to talk about the fact that I've worked with the largest industries in the world, because that causes people to say, oh, okay, now let me not look at you, the woman, you, the Black woman. Now I'm leaning more into what you're bringing to the table. Now I'm starting to hear the value, because I can now relate to what you say you do for others to how you might be able to do it for me. Right?
Yes. Yes.
And with that, I'm so excited because we have an infomercial that we're going to do, and we've got two special guests about to join us. And before I bring them on, we're going to take a quick break here, if that's okay, Barbara. All righty.
Hi, my name is Professor Barry, and I often teach my students one of the greatest things that you can do to help heal the earth, you can do actually right at your home. This is like, it is the 5th largest lake in the world and the 3rd largest lake in the United States. Millions of people, in fact 35 million people in over 7 states get all their fresh water right here. Fresh water is not renewable. Our source of life starts here. So think about that every time you just run your bathtub water or run the water in your kitchen sink or even brushing your teeth. When you turn off that water, what you're doing is helping me and millions of other people and life forms and species that depend on this water to live. So think about that every time you run the water at your home. You're doing more than just saving water. You're helping heal the earth.
Barbara, the one reason I love that commercial is it speaks to the abundance. I mean, I'm looking at it, in a different way, not just the message, but the abundance that we have within us. Right? Les Brown talks about there's greatness within us, and that's the Great Lake. And the world is waiting for us to pour out our brilliance, right? To respect the power that's within us. Because if you know anything about Lake Michigan, you know that it can look very calm on the surface, that it can be torrid underneath, right? Yeah. But yet it's a life-sustaining force. And sometimes that brilliance within us is meant to be life-sustaining. It's meant to be a bridge. It's meant to be a lift up for those that are looking to find a way out. It serves as a way of encouragement, a pathway to success and excellence. And these two individuals that I'm about to bring on are here to talk about Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference. We have none other than the host of this conference, creator and host, the amazing Melissa Banks, and one of the speakers, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, aka Dr. Taz. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Excited to be here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So glad you're here. I love watching the two of you in your respective lanes, and just over the few years that I've known you, I'm seeing again the Great Lakes in you starting to just pour forward. It's like it's this fire that you can't contain it. And you're finding these different paths, whether it's in your books, whether it's in your podcast. This particular conference, Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference on May 6th, is another such platform. So, Melissa, I want you to tell us just a little bit about you and what inspired you to create this conference.
I think you cut out a little bit, LaWanna. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Yes, I'm Melissa Banks. I am a master event planner, entrepreneur, author. I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you guys for sharing your platform with us. Just a little bit about me. I've been in my business for over 25 years. I am passionate about women and inspiring and encouraging women to be the best that they can be and to believe beyond where they thought they would have to stop. That's my mission through every single thing that I do, whether it's events, books, or talking to a lady in the bathroom. I'm still trying to pour into her and encourage her to be all that she can be.
I love that. Before you tell us a little bit about why this conference and why now, Dr. Taz, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, LaWanna. It's good to be here with you and Barbara, and always good to be with Melissa Banks. As she said, she's a master event planner. And so when you're a master at something, that means you see the whole picture. And for me, my whole message is about well-being. Whether it is my books, whether it's the podcast, whether it's my Talk with Taj show, my thing has always been, and it's funny, I look back at my dissertation that I completed in 2012, and well-being was a part of it. So it's always been my mission to create a platform, to create an arena where individuals can rise to the occasion, as you was talking about earlier, because I believe there's more in us, but sometimes circumstances try to prevent us. It's not really the circumstances, it's our response to the circumstance, because we all have trauma responses, and that sometimes prevent us from being the very best that we can be. So for me, I'm a talk show host. I do live interviews on Instagram. My books are out there, my social media posts. So my thing is, and I can't forget coaching. My thing is, whether it's physical health or emotional health, we can figure out how we can transform that. And that kind of leads back into Melissa's conference. Oh, you might, you're on mute, LaWanna.
I am. I'm on mute. I'm the only one who can hear myself. It's all good. Melissa, that gets back to you. Why this conference and why now? Why was it so important for you?
Well, the mission behind the conference really started with the podcast. Back when the pandemic hit, I had to do some pivoting in my business. My business was 99% in person, right? So the pandemic hits and I had to do some pivoting, but I still had the same mission. So I started the podcast, Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. And what I learned in that podcast is the same I had learned in my life, that when you share your story, when women share what they've gone through, what they fought through, and they're still standing and they're creating amazing lives, that encourages other women to want the same thing and to be able to do the same thing. Sometimes we just need to hear that we're not the only one going through stuff, right? So the podcast started the process. Then last year was our first Imagine the Possibilities, because I thought, I want to be able to reach women worldwide. I want a platform that will bring women on, speaking to women, because that's when we're powerful. Women supporting women is when we're powerful. And that's what the whole platform is about. These women will share some really tough stuff. Women go through a lot. Y'all, when I'm talking to women on that podcast, I'm amazed at how much stuff and how they push through it in spite of the circumstances. We find a way to get through it. And when we hear that out of the mouth of other women, it puts us. And that's what the conference is about. I want to push you. I want to inspire you. I want to be there for your breakthrough. I don't want to get you excited. I want you to walk out of there ready to go to work and move to action. And that's what it's all about. It's getting inspired, but it's also the action you put in, believing in yourself and getting you to where you want to be.
I love that. Barbara, you're on mute.
I can only hear myself, right? Okay, Melissa, wonderful, wonderful. Another question for you. What does empowerment, because you mentioned empowerment, I know that's your whole base when it comes to women, mean to you, and does it mean the same thing to others?
What empowerment means to me is giving that I can have whatever my desire. That's part of it. Confidence in yourself. It's knowing that you can step out there. You can believe in yourself. You can do the work, your only limit. So when you walk into a place and someone pours into you, it should empower you, make you excited, make you believe in yourself, make you believe that you can go as far as you can take yourself, and you have the power to do it. So the power to you, you can get up or you can stay in bed, right? But the power is what I believe it means to me. I believe it mean that to anyone hears it. That's what empowerment is all about, is I got the power to do what I want to do in my life. No matter who can agree with it, and people often are not going to agree with you. If you don't do it the way they do it or say the things the way they say it, then that tends to limit you. And sometimes y'all, can listen to somebody else and they take all of our power away from us. I was even listening to a little bit of the conversation you guys were having before we came on. And you talked about how other people's opinion were causing you to second guess your own power, right? So when you get empowered, that's not going to happen, because you're going to change that language in your head. You're going to put yourself in the space of women that have pushed through things, and that gives you that power. It gives you that strength. And that's what I'm hoping other women that hear that will be feeling like the world.
I love that. And I know you have quite a few women on your platform, and one of the amazing speakers is sitting here with us. Dr. Teresa, tell us, without giving away everything you're going to talk about, tell us a little bit about your platform during this Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference.
You know, we're not going to give it away, but we're going to see if I can tease a little bit. You asked, Barbara asked Melissa, what is empowerment? And I was thinking about what I heard back in the green room, and then listening to Melissa. You know, I think one thing that she said is so powerful, but it kind of slipped past us quickly. It is very easy to hear what is said and internalize it. I want us to flip that this time. I want us to hear every message that each speaker gives, because I believe regardless of how we craft our message, everyone needs to hear every message. Because when you hear something repetitively and you hear it in a different way, sometimes it will settle into our bodies and in our minds and in our hearts. And so for me, I'm still tweaking. So I'm just going to tease a little bit. I'm still tweaking how I'm going to deliver it, but it's going to be about empowerment. It's going to be about taking control of what once had you under bondage, and then figuring out how you can go uphill. Even if you go downhill, you're going to go uphill again, because it is a process. And I think sometimes when we unintentionally compare ourselves to others or listen to what others are saying, and we feel that maybe we're smaller or maybe not as grand as we should be, we have to figure out how to hear. It's like flour, because I was baking this weekend. It's like flour, old time baking, like cakes. You know, you put the flour in the sifter and you're sifting it out, or either you're shaking it out. You're trying to make sure the lumps don't come through into your bowl. That's what we have to do as individuals, and particularly ladies. Hear, but learn to sift out what's not important, because what happens if we don't, we take on negative energy that then decreases our vibration, and we don't want to do that. So Melissa has brought together a group of women who are going to use their voice, the way they communicate on their platform, to deliver the same message that she does every day, but we'll do it a little differently. And my hope is that everybody will take a nugget from each person. And I'm back on my cooking things. You take a nugget, and then everybody will have a pie that will then, help them to go through each day.
I like what you just said, and it is powerful. So to those of you that are joining us, we are here with Melissa Banks, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, and we are talking a little bit about the upcoming conference, Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference on May 6th. And when you're talking about empowerment, I love how you said Melissa's had this voice, right? And it's been echoing. But now she's joining forces with individuals who can help expand the ripples. So they may be giving the same message, a similar message, or complementary message.
Yes.
That's going to land on the ears it was meant to land on, right? So collectively, I hear you saying you guys are going to be able to reach more. Melissa said she wants to have a global impact. And I always love to quote the African proverb, we can go far by ourselves, but we can go farther together. So Melissa's saying, let's lock arms, ladies. Let's amplify our voices collectively.
Absolutely.
And let's create this amazing symphonic sound that resonates across the world. So I think that's so exciting. Barbara, you want to talk about, get some information on when, where, and all that good stuff? And you're on mute, remember.
I made sure. I was like, let me look down. Yes, thank you so much. I love the sifting thing. Just real quickly, what Dr. Teresa said. So yeah, so this is wonderful conference coming up. We want to know the logistics of this, the date, the time, and the access for the conference. Melissa?
Okay. The name of the conference is Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference. It's going to be May 6th on 2023. And the tickets are available right there at You simply just go to themelissabanks.com and click the first link, and it'll take you right there to the tickets. In the room, we have about 7 amazing women that were talking about their journeys. You know, to me, I have grown so much by hearing women, how they push through the different aspects. Each woman has a different journey, right? But each woman also will pour nuggets into you that when you walk out of there, that you feel empowered to go and make your dream happen, because you know that you can come out with the confidence and the belief in yourself that you can do it. If these women, you can too. So then it's May 6th, 2023. Tickets are available at themelissabanks.com.
That is great. So, ladies, even gentlemen, because you have wives, sisters, aunties, grandmas, friends, that if this sounds like something that would benefit them, please spread the word. But let's get very, very specific, because you all want, as Kern Cherry always says, you want butts and seats, right? Bottom line, you have a message, you want it to be heard by people who are meant to be there. Melissa, who is this conference for?
This conference is for that woman who has been sitting there with a dream in her heart, but she just hasn't had the nerve to start. This conference is for that woman who is doing great. She's been building her business for years, and now it's time to go to that next level, but she can't get the strength or the courage or the belief in herself enough to take that next step. But this conference is also for that woman who is feeling overwhelmed. She has been working hard at her business for a really long time, and nothing seems to be happening. She needs that breakthrough. This conference is for her as well. This conference is for any woman who wants to believe in herself, need that push. Sometimes we just need a little bit of it. Sometimes we need that little bit of push to make us want more, believe in ourselves more, and ready to do more. This conference is for you.
Wow, I love that. So if any of those descriptions resonated with you, whether you were watching the live or the replay, lean in, reach out to Melissa. Information scrolling below. Be a part of the Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference on May 6th, 2023. You can get your tickets at themelissabanks.com. We have one last question before we have to say goodbye to this amazing infomercial. Barbara.
I just want to make sure. Yes, we just want to say, for you, how do you support women in what you do every day? And from Melissa and Dr. Teresa.
What I do every day, every time I get up out of bed, I am inspiring and encouraging women's one book, Dream by Design Inspiration Journal, is just for the woman who needs that little nitpick of reminder of who she is and what she has inside. So the book is compiled with lots to remind you that you have every single thing you need. But the book also provides places for you to write those dreams and how you make them happen. That's to encourage them. My set up to encourage and push women to do the best that they can be. Offer a mentor program so we can sometimes someone to believe in us, someone to help us believe in ourselves, or someone to get that fear out of us that we can't do it. Those opportunities are right there. And of course, our podcast, Dream by Melissa Banks, it has women on there sharing those stories and journeys that will inspire and encourage you. Every single week, we have a new broadcast that comes out once a week, Wednesday, that can inspire and encourage women. That is my mission. That is my gift and passion in life, is to motivate and encourage women to move further than they thought they could and where they would normally stop.
Awesome. And for you, Dr. Teresa?
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Melissa, and of course, LaWanna. What I'm going to say is, because we're all in our own lane, but we do very similar things. For me, it's my social media post every day. It's my podcast. It's my Transform with Taj show, where I take recipes that are not so healthy and make them a healthier version of themselves so that we can have some pleasure in life. And then I bring on individuals who have overcome challenging situations in their life. And so they can share nuggets with my audience. You know, with my live, Talk with Todd's Live, it's always about something that's a human interest story that's going to appeal to other individuals. And then I'm just going to tell you, I'm very transparent. The things that I do in the mornings, I get the inspiration that morning. And so I believe that my inspiration, I know it comes from God, but I think that it's timing too. I believe that what I'm going through, someone else is going through. So I'm very transparent. So what you read and what you see and hear, if I'm using my book Transformation or Stronger, How Overcoming Life's Adversity to Push You Through Your Purpose, I'm being very transparent because I realize that each of us, we have our up days, and we have days that we're not so up, and then we have days that we're sort of down. And I believe that in order to affect change, we have to be transparent because it's not always shiny and rosy over here with me. You know, it's up and down. And I want folks to realize that as they make their journey, they're going to have ups and downs also, but they don't have to stop. Don't stop. You eat the wrong thing today, according to what the doctor said you're supposed to be eating in your plan. That's okay. You eat the next time you eat, if you eat again today, eat the right thing. And certainly tomorrow, eat the right thing. Don't just say, okay, I've done wrong, so I'm not going to try anymore. No, you keep trying because I think most of us, and I can speak for most of us, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, we are up and down also, but we keep trying. And that's the reason why we're sitting here today. We want to help other people keep trying so that they can reach their success also. And please don't compare your success to anybody else because we're all successful women sitting here, but we're successful in different ways. And no one's success undermines anybody else's success. And I think that's the lesson we have to learn as we try to reach our goals in life. Oh, LaWanna, you're muted this time, LaWanna.
I am. Ladies, thank you so very much for joining us for this infomercial. I hope those of you that are listening, again, to the live or replay, take note of what they were saying and the offer. It's a call to action, basically. And Melissa described the women who this is for. So if she was speaking to you, if Dr. Taz was speaking to you, or if you know someone who this will speak to, I'm asking you to speak up, reach out, point them to the website, encourage them to be a part of this. Transformation begins with deciding. Sometimes that's the hardest thing for us to do, is to decide. So ladies, thank you so very much for joining us. Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference on May 6, 2023. It is virtual. You can join from your jammy jams. There is no excuse not to be there. And you can go to themelissabanks.com, themelissabanks.com. You can find Melissa Banks as well as Dr. Teresa A. Smith on all things social media. Follow them. I promise you that you will be that much richer from the wealth of wisdom of their lived experiences that they are pouring into you. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. And we look forward to your upcoming conference.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, Barbara.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, a lot of great things happening.
Yes. I love the empowerment portion of it. Yep.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were, again, talking about. Is free really free? So let's look at this. You've got this conference, right? These women are coming boldly, confidently, authentically, sharing their lived experiences. They're sharing the cost, right? That's been paid.
Yes.
And the value is immeasurable.
Oh, yeah.
It's priceless material and information that's going to be shared for those who want it. So again, is free really free? It's not. Someone's paid the price.
Yeah.
Someone's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Someone figured out how to get over the mountain, and even though they may have hit the valley again, they know how to climb back up.
Yeah, they know that mountain. they know that mountain.
Right. So they can be that guide to make the journey just that much easier or that much tolerable, knowing you're not alone.
Yeah. And I love that. That's powerful in and of itself about the mountain. But the other thing I just wanted to add too, and we've been talking about, what I love how we've been talking about is, asking the question, is not free. And we haven't really touched on the money part of it, because we're trying to show you that it's not just the money. We're talking about the skills and the time and the journey that a person goes through, especially, we're talking about women really right now. So that all comes under that bowl, I was going to say, this big bowl. You throw all that in and talking about, well, it's free. They're just telling me this, but do you know what they went through? That's not free. That's something that was a cost for them. Well, they just went to school and stuff. Yeah, but you know how long that they had to go to school and get that degree? And it was free to get the degree. So see, that's what we're trying to show you, that it's not just, they're asking you for $500 for their program. We're trying to show you that through the program that you're getting for that $500, I'm just using an example because mostly it's
500 is an example, folks. It's an example.
Don't use it's a prime example. It should be more. But I'm just saying, out of that, we're talking about the time and energy they took. We're talking about the skills and expertise. We're talking about all the other facets that they had to deal with to get to the point that they could say, you know what? I've been there. I know that. So now I want to teach you, help you. So that's why we want you to see, when we're talking about it's a cost, there's a lot in that cost.
And I liked what Melissa said. It wasn't just, it's not just story time, right? You're going to get a story. You're going to get many stories. But then she says, then you're going to get the action, right? So again, this isn't just romper room. You are going to listen. You're going to be inspired. I'm certain there's going to be a lot of emotions that are going to be, bubbling up, maybe some reminders. I don't know what you're going to go through. But at the end of the day, Melissa promises there's going to be some tools, some strategies to get you to where you need to go. And I think that's, having a conference design like that, Barbara, to me is powerful, because we can go and get inspired all day long. Call it a big, massive pep rally with 50 people speaking. Okay. But I don't know what to do now. You tugged on every single emotion that I got, and then I walk out, and I'm now what? But what I heard her saying, and tell me if you heard the same thing, is all these stories are ultimately going to lead to, if you follow the path, you follow the guidance, to some transformation that's going to help to elevate you to where you want to go. And I'm certain all of these speakers are going to have other things that they can offer you, right? So it's one thing to be at the conference and get that appetizer. It's another thing when you say, okay, I want the full course.
Yes.
And what does that look like? Mm-hmm. What does it look like when I take the design by the Dreams by Design journal and start mapping things out? How do I do that? And I'm certain Melissa has programs that are all linked to that, and other speakers are going to do the same. So I encourage those of you that do register, be purposeful, be intentional, and be committed to you. Just to show up for the sake of showing up. Folks, we all have a finite time on this earth. I don't let just anyone on my platform talking about their events. I just don't. But when I believe that there is a message that's going to change, that's going to, as this platform say, choose to challenge, and it's challenging this, I want to hear them. I want to be that bullhorn to say, Mayday, Mayday, sign up, be a part, connect, be a part of this sisterhood, this community that's going to stir up your gifts. Barbara, you talk about purpose, right? I kind of heard as she was talking, it's like, the stirring up. There's going to be a stirring. There's going to be a spiritual stirring, an unleashing, a loosening, a breaking bondages. I'm not even there, and I'm excited. I mean, that's what I sensed coming through. Barbara, what about you?
Yeah, when you said about that stirring up, I was like, woo. I mean, I can just hear it bubbling right now over here. I was like, okay. And that's what's needed. I mean, and I'm glad they're going to do that. So every person probably hopefully in that room, the virtual room, is going to hit home somewhere with their own stirring up for their own purpose. That, okay, we put that out there. And to empower them like they're using to do what they need to do. So that sometimes you need that stirring, you need it.
You do. I'm going to show this one video, and I see that Melissa is still in the green room. I'm going to bring her up to just do a quick closeout since she's hanging on, listening to the rest of the show, which is a good thing. So 1 second here. Melissa is back. And I like that video, even though it's focusing on gender and pay equity. The whole premise is your value. If you got anything out of that video, it's talking about your value. And that's what Melissa's going to be talking about. We're all priceless gems, uniquely made. There will never, ever, ever in the history of eternity be another you. And if you know that and own it, who knows where God's going to take you. Melissa, I want to turn it over to you and give a closing statement before we sign off for the evening.
That's right. Oh my gosh, thank you. I was just hanging out because y'all were so inspiring. I was enjoying the conversation, but thank you for this moment. I just want to say to you guys, thank you for allowing me to be here. But if you're listening right now, started 20 I didn't know what I was going to do. I lost a job that I thought I would be on forever, but God had a plan. Every day is not a great day, but every day is a day that I can try again and try again. The first thing I want to tell you is don't make giving up an option. Make every day moving because there's going to be. Don't forget, join us at the Imagine the Possibility Virtual Conference.
Thank you so much. Well, Barbara, thank you for joining me for this amazing Choose the Challenge. Melissa, thank you so much. We're looking forward to your conference. And to our listening audience, thank you again for joining us for another edition of Choose the Challenge. We do not take your viewership lightly. You could be watching any show because there's a lot out there. But you chose to spend time with us. So we say thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next week on Monday for another edition of Choose the Challenge at 6 p.m. Eastern. Until then, remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, when you see the possibilities, success is inevitable. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.